Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look at the Dallas Stars in today's video. After going on a cup run to the Stanley Cup Final, inevitably losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 2020 Stanley Cup Playoffs, what are the key factors for the Dallas Stars if they want to go on another run in the 2021 NHL season? We'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to help us get to 1,000 subscribers, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below, and let's take a look at the Dallas Stars. Alright, so before we get too far into this video, as usual, guys, want to give a quick plug to our Instagram and Twitter handles at goalline_hockey. Links will be in the description down below, as well as playing throughout this video. Make sure to check out our Patreon if you want to financially support the channel. Obviously, if you are just watching this video, that is already enough, but if you want to go even further than that, because you like looking at my amazing face, make sure to check out our Patreon. We post a weekly podcast every Thursday night. And I'm actually going to be working on a project here this winter. And if you're interested in that topic and maybe learning a little bit about that, I'll be posting some updates on that on the Patreon. So, guys, with that out of the way, let's go. Let's take a look at the Dallas Stars. So the Dallas Stars last season, they were a team that, including myself and most people out there, were not confident that the Dallas Stars were a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. The reason for that really was because of, who are the stars on the Dallas Stars? You would think the team named the Dallas Stars, you have plenty of all-star talent. A lot of people put that into question going into last season. You have Tyler Seguin, a former, second overall pick, a really great hockey player, but he was never that franchise player. Jamie Benn, the captain of the Dallas Stars, same sort of scenario. And why couldn't they just become that next level elite? And we didn't see that yet. Guys like Alexander Radulov, it was a continuing pattern. We did know in between the pipes they were pretty solid with Ben Bishop and Anton Khudobin, who for the past 2 years now have probably been the most solid goaltending tandem in the NHL. We'll be taking a look at all that here. So, what do the Dallas Stars need to do in order to go on another run in the 2021 season to potentially get over that hurdle and win another Stanley Cup? Well, based off of this recent NHL article from the NHL official site, I've kind of dug through and I'm kind of going to react to what they talked about. Because, guys, at this time of the year, there's not a lot of news out there, believe it or not. So we're kind of scraping around, but this is still some pretty useful information, especially for you Dallas Stars fans out there. So we're going to start things off. The number one thing they mentioned was, can Jamie Benn boost his production again? Now, the reason they're saying this, he's a 31-year-old forward. He had 40 points last season. He had 39 points, 19 goals, 20 assists in the 69 games last season with the Dallas Stars. His lowest total since he scored 33 points back in 2012 and 2013. So, again, this is a guy that a couple years ago, he scored 79 points in 82 games, and he became the Hart Trophy winner a couple of years back. And since then, we have not seen him really develop into that next level, consistently. The Stars are going to need him, especially now that Tyler Seguin will be out for the next 5 months after recovering from right hip surgery back earlier this month. So the loss of Tyler Seguin in the beginning of this year is definitely going to hurt their center depth, but their talent level overall, they really are going to need Jamie Benn to step up. All right, so now the second thing they mentioned, and we're going to look at in between the pipes. Can Anton Khudobin handle the workload with Ben Bishop out? Khudobin stepped in the postseason for the Stars as the number one goaltender once Bishop had right knee surgery back in October, which was a month ago, and Khudobin will have to bear the brunt of the work going into next year. As obviously Anton Khudobin, he had 13 straight starts in the postseason, injured but was never made more than 37 starts in his NHL career. He's also 34 years old, just another thing to remember. And this is a guy that he was kind of a journeyman throughout his NHL career. He's been with the Carolina Hurricanes, he's been with the Boston Bruins, and plenty of other teams along the way. And he's really been able to find his success and his niche with the Dallas Stars. The question is, though, will he be able to do that consistently? As they really have, it's those two guys, and then you have a really young goaltender, potentially in Jake Oettinger, who I think could be on the rise for the Dallas Stars, a former first-round pick. But again, he's still a very young goaltender, and when you have young goaltenders, they're a little bit weird. You don't know if they're going to be good right away or not. And the fact that Oettinger is still, I believe, 21 or 22 years old, I think the Dallas Stars want to wait to push the agenda on him because he is the, dare I say, the future starting goaltender in between the pipes for the Dallas Stars. And then the third question they bring up, or the thing that they really need to rely on this year, is will Miro Heiskanen continue to raise his game? He's a 20-year-old defenseman now, believe it or not. He had 35 points as a defenseman last year, which is very solid considering he played in 68 games last year with the Stars. He scored 26 points in 27 games in the postseason. So he's basically a point per game in last year's playoffs. Best among defensemen, and third behind only Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point overall, which obviously they won the Stanley Cup. Heiskanen shows the poise of a veteran and has good chemistry with other defensemen, Jamie Alexiak on Dallas' second defensive pair. The Stars are expecting Heiskanen to get even better. Now, Jim Nill came out the other day and said, we're a team off the map to a lot of the other media out there. And I think it was kind of a coming out for him in the postseason. People started to realize who this guy is, and he showed he can play any game he wants. When you look at his age, and especially the position, you look at defensemen, marquee defensemen usually don't hit their peaks until they're 26 or 27. So I think there's more growth there. And we saw this a couple years back with the Carolina Hurricanes, where Jacob Slavin had his coming out party in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Once again, another small market team to most around the league in Carolina, and he had a really strong playoff run as a defenseman and really got his name out there. And I think this is an opportunity for Miro Heiskanen to kind of do the same thing. And remember, this is a former third or fourth overall pick. So Miro Heiskanen has a lot of hype around him. He's a really solid defenseman. And this is a guy that the Dallas Stars, again, at 21 years old, third overall pick back in 2017. So the Dallas Stars absolutely expect him to be a difference maker for them, moving forward. And they really, I talked about with the Buffalo Sabres, they need Rasmus Dahlin to step up as that top defenseman. Luckily for Miro Heiskanen, he's already got a guy like John Klingberg already on this blue line, Esa Lindell. So really it's John Klingberg, but with his recent injury issues, it makes the role bigger for Miro Heiskanen moving forward. He does have that little bit of a stepping stone with John Klingberg on the top pair, which makes it a little easier for the young defenseman. But I'm really excited what we're going to see out of Heiskanen. Guys, I've already talked about this before. The hype around the Dallas Stars, they're a sleeper team once again going into next year. The only issue is how do they get into the postseason? Anton Khudobin has to be good. And more than likely, whoever the backup is, whether that's Jake Oettinger or Landon Bowe, whichever goaltender they decide to go with behind Khudobin, also has to be reliable, because there's no way this coming season, which is going to probably be a condensed season where we're going to have a lot of back-to-backs and possibly 3 games in 4 nights, you're not going to be able to rely on just Anton Khudobin. That backup has to be just as good, if not potentially even better, than Anton Khudobin if they want a chance to make the Stanley Cup playoffs next season. And they need to see the emergence of some of those young guys like Roope Hintz, guys like Denis Gurianov, guys like Radek Faksa. The continuation of Yoel Kiviranta, who we saw really do well this past postseason. So there's a lot of factors for the Dallas Stars that have to work in their favor. But there's no reason to say that they're not going to be very different from what they were this past season. And this year is 2020, which is kind of a blip year, I think, on the radar. But if the Dallas Stars are able to do what they did last year, play a defensive game, they have a great coach behind the bench, and Rick Bowness, I don't see why the Dallas Stars could not go on another run in the 2021 playoffs. So, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Dallas Stars? Do you think they have the potential to go on another run in the Stanley Cup playoffs next season? Or do you think they could potentially miss the playoffs based off of some of their injuries with guys like Ben Bishop and Tyler Seguin? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, guys, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go Stars.